Namaste all. I'm Dr. Monisha Viji. So today we'll discuss about your Samhita syllabus. That is Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthana first 15 chapters and Charaka Samhita Sutrasthana first 15 chapters. So you might be knowing the pattern of your question paper that has been changed from past 2 years. That is, you will have 10 marks 4 questions, 5 marks 8 questions, and 1 mark each for 20 questions. Okay. Uh, what do you know about Samhita? We'll discuss something basic about Samhita now. Ayurveda is all about Samhita. Samhita is the base for Ayurveda. Ayurveda doesn't exist if Samhitas are not there. No, a home without pillar, it is like that. So in Ayurveda, you can find there are three Brihatrayas. Brihat is big, Trayi are three. Okay, there are similarly there are Lagutrayas also. There are three small books. So we refer these 6 books as very much essential Samhita part. In Brihatrayas, you will have one Charaka Samhita, one Sushruta Samhita, and one Ashtanga Hridaya. Note, it is not Ashtanga Sangraha, it is Ashtanga Hridaya. After that, in Lagutrayas, you will have Yoga Ratnakara, Madhava Nidana, and Bhava Prakasha Nigantu. Okay, they deal with their specific subjects. Now, coming to the syllabus proper, Ashtanga Hridaya, our first chapter is Ayush Kamiyam Adhyayam. See, in all the Samhitas, Sutrasthanas are placed first because this Sutrasthana is base for all other chapters of that particular Samhita. You will have all the basic things, everything covered here. In Ashtanga Hridaya Ayush Kamiyam Adhyayam, we are going to learn about the normalcy and the roga in a body. It is also about the doshas, koshta, dhatu. You will learn all the basics of Ashtanga Hridaya in your first chapter. So some introduction about your Ashtanga Hridaya. It is written by Acharya Lakhu Vagbhata. It belongs to time period of 7th to 8th century. And it is a comprehensive book. It contains information both from Charaka Samhita as well as from Sushruta Samhita. The total number of chapters in this Samhita is 120 chapters. It is being divided into 6 sthanas. Okay. The first sthana is Sutra Sthana. It contains 30 chapters. And the second sthana is Nidhana Sthana, contains 16 chapters. And the third is Sharira Sthana, 6 chapters. Kalpasiddhi Sthana, 6 chapters. Chikitsa Sthana, 22 chapters. And this Uttara Tantra contains the maximum, that is 40 chapters. What is commentators and commentary? See, when you read a novel or some book and you summarize it, you make some things very elaborative, some things very short. So you are interpreting something. So that is called as a commentary, and someone who does this is a commentator. Sarvanga Sundara is one such commentary on Ashtanga Hridaya by Acharya Aruna Datta. Our Acharya start this chapter with a quote saluting the physician, saluting the Apurva Vaidya. Okay, it goes as Ragadi Rogan Satatanushaktan Ashesha Kaya Prasritana Sheshan Autsukya Moha Ratitam Jadanam Yopurva Vaidyaya Namustu Tasmai, which means a person who is devoid of any rajas, any confusions, any moha, the one who is blessed with the divine knowledge of Ayurveda, the one who is very much expert in Ayurveda and treating disorders, is an Apurva Vaidya, and we are saluting him before starting the further studies. So what is the objective of life? Why should we live on this earth? There are 4 such objectives. That is, 4 such purposes. What are they? Ayu kamayamanena dharmartha sukha sadhanam Ayurvedopadesheshu videya paramadaraha. They are dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Dharma is the way you live, the way you adopt to live. There are good dharmas and bad dharmas. Anything which you follow, okay? Artha is wealth. To live, at least to have food, you need some wealth, right? Kama is your desire. without any desire, you cannot initiate some work. And moksha. This moksha is your moksha after death. So acharyas concentrate both on iha life and para life. That is, now that you are leaving, you have life, and after life also he is concentrating on moksha. So we might be wondering how Ayurveda came to existence. So it is very important to know the base of Ayurveda, how it came to earth. Acharya tells, Brahma smritva yusho vedam prajapatim majigrahat so ashvinoto sahastraksho so atriputradikan munin te agniveshadikam steshu prutak tantrani tenire. Which means Brahma, one among the Trimurtis, he remembered Ayurveda. He knew it before and he remembered it. He taught Daksha Prajapati. And from Daksha Prajapati, the knowledge transfer happens to Ashwini Kumaras. You know Ashwini Kumaras, right? They are the twin sons of God Surya. From Ashwini Kumaras, the knowledge gets transferred to Lord Indra. Sahasraksha is nothing but Indra. From Indra, it comes to Bhuloka, that is to Atreya, etc. Munis. They do tapas, and from Lord Indra, they'll get the knowledge. From Atreya the Munis, the knowledge gets transferred to Agnivesha, etc. Shishyas. So these Atreya the Munis acts as gurus for Agnivesha, etc. Sishyas. These Agnivesha and all, no, they write their own samhitas. For example, Charaka Samhita, its actual name is Agnivesha Tantra. Because Acharya Charaka completed this Samhita, it is known as Charaka Samhita. Okay. Similarly, Aharita Tantra is also there. Ashtangas of Ayurveda. There are 8 such very important branches which Ayurveda, which our Ashtanga mainly concentrates on. They are Kaya, Pala, Grahur, Dvanga, Shalya, Damshtra, Jara, Vrishan, Ashtavangani Tasyahu, Chikitsayeshu Samshrita. Kaya. Kaya refers to general medicine, the whole body as such. Okay? And Bala Chikitsa. Bala Chikitsa is similar to Kaya Chikitsa, but it is completely about babies. Graha Chikitsa. It is psychiatry, everything that is supernatural and all. And Urdhvanga, anything that comes above your shoulder is termed as Urdhvanga. That is your ENT branch. Shalya Chikitsa, this refers to surgery. Dhanvantari Sampradaya of Ayurveda. Damshtra Chikitsa is toxicology, what we call as Agada Tantra, which includes any snake bite, scorpion bite, visha, all such things. Jara Chikitsa, geriatric medicine. When we treat the old people, when we understand their own diseases and treat, that is Jara Chikitsa. And Vrisha Chikitsa is aphrodisiacs. What is the base for a human life to live? So that is Tridoshas according to Ayurveda. The Tridoshas are Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Any layman who listens to the word Ayurveda will remember Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So we'll dig deep into it and have some knowledge where they are situated, how they work, how they change according to time, how they influence our body. Vayu Pittam Kapasyeti Trayo Dosha Samasataha Vikrita Deham Nanti Te Vartayanti Cha. They can be both in Vikrita and Avikrita, that is Prakrita Avastha in our body. There are 3, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. So where are they located? We cannot see them from outside. No, where is Vata, where is Pitta and Kapha? So Acharyas gives their sthanas. Te vyapino api hrannabhyo adho mardhyordva samshrayaha. That is, see, I am drawing a picture of a human being. You think it is a picture of a human being? These are his two lower limbs. This is upper limbs. You think this to be the hridaya of the patient and this as umbilical region. Okay. Acharya is asking us to draw an imaginary line at the level of hridaya and at the level of umbilicus of the person. So, anything which comes above the Jatrurdhva, above the hridaya, is Kafasthana. And something, the place where it belongs below the hridaya and above the umbilicus, that is in between hridaya and umbilicus, are Pittasthana. And next coming to Vata, anything, any part of the body which is below umbilicus will have Vata as predominant dosha. You know it, right? You will draw two imaginary lines at the level of your heart and your umbilicus. Anything which is above the heart is Kapha, in between your heart and your umbilicus is Pitta, and below the umbilicus is Vata. Dosha predominance. In one day, in one night, and in your age from childhood till now or till your old age, and in the food you eat, the doshas vary. They don't stay stable. Okay? Vayohoratri bhuktanam teyanta madhyadika kramat. That is, see, in the day, Vata. Vata is always at the end. Kapha is always in the beginning and Pitta is always in the middle. You remember this, okay? Now, in the day, morning hours, because Kapha is beginning, no? So, morning hours, it is Kapha. Afternoon, when the sun is very much sunny, it is Pitta. And in the evening, at the end of the day, it is Vata. Similarly, in the night, early night is Kapha, midnight is Pitta, and late night is Vata. You can observe this. So, when the patient is having any skin disorder which is of Vata origin, the patient will have severe symptoms in the evening at the end of the day. Okay, they might get severe itching, severe scaly lesions appearing on their body, and if it is of Kapha origin, the symptoms might be too much visible in the morning hours, itching and all. So when it comes to the age, in the childhood, because it is the beginning, no, it is Kapha time, and in the youth, that means people of your age and my age are of Pitta predominancy. And then your Ajji and Tatas, that is old age people, are of Vata dominance. And in the food you eat, as soon as you eat, because it is the beginning, it is Kapha predominance in the gastric phase. And when the food moves from the gastric phase to the intestinal phase, it is Pitta. And when it moves to the colon, it is Vata phase. Okay. These doshas influence our Agni also. Agni, as we see outside, it is not available inside. You can compare Agni with the hormones, any metabolic changes which produces heat in our body, that can be called as Agni. Okay. These doshas, how they influence on our Agni? Taipa vidvishamastikshno mandaschagni samaha. So there are 4 such types of Agnis. Everything is not present in everyone's body. So it varies based on their prakriti and dosha predominance. So Vata, if there is too much predominance of Vata in the Agni of a person, it will be Vishama Agni. Vishama Agni is always like, sometimes the person will be feeling very much hungry and sometimes no hunger at all. So it is never stable, it keeps on varying. If the person is predominantly of Pitta dosha, then it is Tikshna Agni. Okay, they'll be always hungry. Whatever they eat, they'll get digested within very few hours. Kapha. In Kapha, there will be very much Mandagni. Mandagni means very low fire. A person who is of Pitta Prakriti, he might take 2 hours only for digestion of any heavy meal. This Kapha Prakriti person will take it 4 hours. Okay? And Samadosha will give rise to Samagni. So when all the 3 such doshas are in normalcy, that is in equal proportion, that will lead to Samagni, and this is the best state of Agni. Moving on. So dosha affecting the koshta. Agni also influences koshta and dosha also influences koshta. We'll see how. Koshta kruro mrudur madhyo madhyasyati samairapi. There are three types of koshtas. Okay. Krura koshta, mridu koshta and madhyama koshta. Krura koshta is very hard stools. When you might have listened, no? Somebody will be telling you, I'm experiencing very hard stools. It is not from now on. It was from the beginning. So in that person, there will be too much predominance of vata. And if the person having too much pitta, then they'll experience very much mrudu koshta. That is opposite of krura koshta, no? Where they'll experience very much loose stools always. And in Kapha Prakriti Purusha, it is Madhyama, neither too tight or too loose. This dosha, how it influences your Prakriti? So Prakriti is formed when in the fetus avastha of our body. That is Shukrartha Vastair Janmadu Visheneva Vishakrimi. Taischa Tisra Prakritayo Hina Madhyuttama Pritak. Samadhatu Samastasu Shreshta Nindyad Vidoshaja. Acharya explains it as when the sperm and the ovum get fused, at that time the Prakriti enters into our body, or it is formed in our body, okay, in the fetus. So there, Acharya gives one simile also, like how a Visha krimi contains Visha in its throat, but it doesn't affect the krimi. Similarly, this Prakriti is present in the formed fetus without affecting the fetus. Okay? So Vata Prakriti is always Hina because they are very much susceptible for all the minor changes surrounding them. Pitta Prakriti is Madhyam. It is somewhat okay. It is manageable Prakriti. And Kapha Prakriti is Uttama. It is very good because they are always stable, calm, peace, cool. And Sama Prakriti, it is very much Shreshta. When all the Vata, Pitta and Kapha are in their normal proportion, at their normal side, performing normal functions, it is the Shreshta Avastha in the body. The person will be very much healthier. And Dvandva Prakriti is always Nindya. Dvandva refers to combination of any two doshas. That might be Vata Pitta, Pitta Kapha or Kapha Vata. Anything, okay? And that is Nindya. That is very much deserving. That is very much deserves scolding. Gunas of doshas. So these doshas we are learning from past many minutes. So what does they contain? Vata, Pitta and Kapha. What are their actual features? So coming to Vata, it is Roksha. Tatra Roksha. It is very much dry. So a person, you can imagine a person during this time, okay? A person who has a skin very dry. Laghu, who is very lean, who is very lightweight. Shita, who is always Shita to touch, okay? Khara, very rough. Sukshma, Chalo, Anilaha. Sukshma is very minute and Chalo. Chala guna is the feature of Anila. That is your Vata. That person will always be hyperactive. If that similarly opposite features will be exhibited by the person who is having Kapha Prakriti. Okay, you will learn it in due time. So coming to Pitta Prakriti person, it is Pittam Sasneha. Sasneha is along with Sneha, but it is not too much Sneha. It is Ishat Sneha. Very lightly oily. Tikshna Ushna. They are very sharp. Ushna. They are always warm to touch. Okay. Laghu. They are also lightweight. Laghu. Visra. Sara. Drava. They might emit odors from their body. It is usual that anybody might emit odors, but in Pitta Prakriti, it is very much remarkably noticed. Sara is a flowing or a movement which represents any movement, and drava is liquidity which flows. Okay, kapha. So now compare kapha and vata when you study. Snigdha shito kurur mandaha slakshna mrusna stira kafaha. Snigdha is opposite of ruksha, that is very oily. Shita, only this feature of vata and kapha are same. Both are shita, only pitta is ushna. Keep this in your mind. Guru, kapha prakriti purusha is guru. They are not laghu like pitta and vata. They are guru. They are heavy. Manda chesta. You can remember a person who does all the activities very slowly, calmly. Okay, that is manda, slow, calm. Slakshna, it is smoothness. Mritsna stira kafaha. Okay, they are always stable. They do not flicker like vata prakriti people. So, coming next, it is samsarga and sannipata of doshas. So what does samsarga and sannipata mean? Samsarga is combination of any two doshas. Like how we studied dvandva prakriti, no, combination of two doshas. Similarly, this term samsarga also refers to the same. Vata pitta, pitta kapha or kapha vata, combination of any two doshas. And coming to sannipata, it is combination of all the three doshas. Vata, pitta, kapha all together. In our body, other than doshas, we also contains dhatu and mala. Dhatu is something which holds our body. Dharanat dhatavaha, we say. So what are such dhatus? There are 7 such dhatus. They can also act as doshyas. Doshya is something which get affected. Okay. Which get affected from what? From the 3 doshas which we studied right now. What are the saptadhatus? Rasa, asrak is rakta, mamsa, meda, asthi, majja, shukra. So, if you want to correlate these things to what it is called in the modern science right now, rasa can be correlated to any serous fluid in your body, and rakta is your blood. Mamsa is muscular tissue, okay? And medas is fatty tissue of your body. Any fat content in your body can be called as medas. Asti is the bony tissue and majja is the filling of asti, that is bone marrow. And shukra is the sara dhatu of all the other dhatus. Shukra is the best dhatu and it is the richest dhatu. Okay, it is the sara bhaga, that is prasada bhaga of all the other previous 6 dhatus. And there are 3 malas. There are 3 metabolic wastes from our body. What are they? Mutra, Purisha and Sveda. Mutra is the urine, Purisha is the fecal matter and Sveda is the sweat. When they are all in normalcy, they contribute to the best part, that is the healthiness of the person. So when they undergo some vitiation because of any increase or decrease in the 3 doshas, they create problems in your body. So how will you manage any increase or decrease? I'm going to give you an example. In a bucket half filled with water, if you are further adding water, you are just adding on the water and increasing the level of water, right? So similar things when you add, that will increase. Dissimilar things when you add, the level will decrease. Okay? Similarly, vriddhihi samanai sarvesham viparitair viparyayah. Samanya things, that is similar things when you add, they lead to increase. Dissimilar things, they'll decrease. So for doing such things in medicine, you need some drugs. Drugs doesn't mean something else. Drugs means the medicinal herbs. Okay. So what does they contain by which they act on our body? So they contain rasa. Rasa is taste. There are 6 such rasas. Okay. रसस्वाद्वम्ल लवण तिक्तोषणकषायकः षड्द्रव्यमस्ति अस्ति च यथा पूर्वं बलवः. That is swad, madhura rasa. It is sweet. Amla rasa is sour. Lavana salty. Tikta is bitter. Oshana or katu is spicy. And kashaya is astringent taste. So these 6 rasas, when you place them in order as told in the shloka, it is told as yatha purvam balahavaha. From the last, if you go to the first rasa, they are all balakaraka. That is, they provide strength to your body. Madhura rasa provides much strength than amla rasa. Similarly, amla is more strength giving than lavana rasa. The least strength giving is kashaya rasa and the most strength provider is madhura rasa. So, how are these rasas and our doshas are connected? Tatradya marutam nanti tayastittadaya kafam kashaya tikta madhura pittamanyetu kurvate. So, madhura, amla and lavana, the first 3 rasas in our order, they increase kapha and they decrease vata. Because kapha and vata are having opposite gunas, no? So, these rasas are having similar gunas of kapha and opposite gunas of vata. That's why they increase kapha and decrease vata. Tikta katu kashaya. So the last 3 rasas, no, they increase vata and decrease kapha. Opposite of the first 3. And from middle you will select 3 now. Kashaya, tikta, madhura. Okay, this madhura, tikta and kashaya, they are all pittahara. Which means other than these 3 rasas, that is amla, lavana and katu rasa, they increase pitta. Okay. These 3 rasas decrease pitta. So these dravyas, as I told, the drugs, how are they divided in Ayurveda? They are divided as Shamana, Kopana and Swasthahita. Shamana means you are reducing the influence or effect of the doshas on your body. For example, there is Vataja Jwara which is caused because of Vata. You are pacifying the doshas, you are reducing the doshas so that jwara goes away. And kopana, there are some drugs which will increase the vata extremely. Okay, in vataja jwara, if you give vata kara, that is which increases vata, such drugs if you give, the jwara will still more increase. No? So that is kopana. And swasthahita. Swasthahita is something which maintains the normalcy. It doesn't decrease, neither increase the doshas. Okay. There are 3 such. Shamana, decrease. Kopana, increase. Swasthahita, it maintains the balance. Shamanam, kopahitam, kopanam, swasthahitam, dravyamiti trida. There are 3 such dravyas. Virya Beda. Virya is their potency. Once they undergo digestion, then they become vipaka. Okay, vipaka is the digested part of the rasa. That is prasada part of the rasa. They will have vipaka. So that vipaka will act in your body based on 2 viryas, Ushna Virya and Shita Virya. You might have listened to your parents telling you already have cold and please do not drink cold water, ice creams at that time, no? That is because there are 2 Shita. 2 Shita things will increase Shita again. Similarly, there are 2 such Viryas, okay? Ushna Virya and Shita Virya. Any dravya you take can be divided as Ushna or Shita. Ushna Shita Gunotkarsha Tatra Virya Tvidasmrita. Okay? And then Vipaka, as I told, this is the prasada portion, that is digested part of rasa. So they are 3. Swad, Amla and Katu. Trida Vipako Dravyasya Swad, Amla, Katukatmaka. So how do you divide the 6 rasas into 3 vipakas now? You will group them. Okay? Madhura rasa and Lavana rasa will undergo Madhura vipaka only. You please make a table or follow this. Madhura rasa and Lavana rasa will undergo Madhura vipaka only. Okay? But Amla rasa, what it does? Amla rasa will undergo amla vipaka only. It will not undergo any other vipaka. Okay. What is remaining? The other three rasas, no? Katu, Tikta, Kashaya. These three will undergo Katu vipaka. So read it again. Madura Lavana will undergo Madura vipaka. Amla rasa will undergo Amla vipaka. Katu, Tikta and Kashaya will undergo Katu vipaka. Okay. So now Acharya tells about the 20 gunas. You take anything in this universe, they will not surpass anything else than these 20 gunas. They might not have all the 20 gunas with them, but any one or any two or combination of any number of gunas among these 20 only will be existing on this earth. So there are 20 gunas. That's why it is Vimshati guna. They are called as Gurvadi gunas because it starts from Guru. Okay, Guru, Adi gunas. And Dvandva gunas because in this shloka, Acharya tells only 10 gunas. And Dvandva refers to their Dvandvas, that is their opposites, which makes it as 20 in total. What are they? Guru Manda Himasnigda Shlakshna Sandra Mrutusthira Guna Sasukshma Vishada Vimshati Saviparyaya. Saviparyaya is all these 10 gunas opposites. What are they? Guru. Guru is heavy and its opposite is Laghu. Laghu is light. Manda, slow in potency, okay? Tikshna is very quick, sharp. Hima is cold and Ushna is hot. Snigdha refers to oiliness, okay? And its opposite is Ruksha, that is dryness. Slakshna, smooth. Khara is rough. Sandra is thickness or any solids can be referred to Sandra. And Drava, they are liquids. Mrudu is softness and Katina is hard. Sthira is stable. Sara is flowing. Sukshma, it is very minute. And Sthula is gross, a huge thing. Vishada is clarity or lucidity and Pichila is sliminess. This is very important even when it comes to practice, okay? Learn them well and learn the shloka also. In the first chapter, learning all the shlokas is very much essential because they constitute the base of your Samhita knowledge, which will help you very much in further studies. So now till now we were studying about something which is Prakrita. Now we'll study what is Roga, how does they form, what are their types, where do they exist in our body, like doshas, okay? Nidana of Roga and Arogya. Kalartha karmana yogo hina mityati matrakaha samyak yogascha vigneyo roga rogaika karanam. That is, Samyak Yoga of Kala, Artha and Karma leads to Arogya. When you are properly utilizing Kala, Artha and Karma, it is called as Arogya. It leads to you a state where you are very much Arogyavanta. Okay? And when you are not utilizing them properly, you are very minimally utilizing or very, very badly in a wrong way you are utilizing or too much you are utilizing, that leads to Roga. Okay, for example, a mobile phone. You are very minimally utilizing it, so you will not be aware how to use it or you will not be aware of the current informations. If you are using it the wrong way, you will know what are the consequences. And if you are using it too much, you will spoil your eyes, mind and all. If you are using it in a perfect way, okay, normally, then it gives you benefits. Similarly, this also, Roga and Arogya. Samyak and Hina Mityati Yoga of Kalaka Artha Karma leads to Roga and Arogya. So, what is definition of Roga? Rogastu dosha vaishamyam, dosha samyam arogata. What does dosha mean? What does Roga mean? Roga is, the previously you learned three doshas, no? If they are in normalcy, it is Arogya. If they are not in normalcy, that is Roga. Then there are types of rogas. It is divided into two, Nija and Agantu. निजागन्तु विभागेन तत्र रोगात् द्विधा स्मृतः. Okay, Nija roga is due to the imbalance of indigenous system. That is, you took something, you had some food, it underwent digestion and it increased some vata or kapha in your body, which is further causing you roga. That is Nija roga because it is happening inside your body. The causative factor is inside your body. And when the causative factor is from outside, that is a stab injury from a knife, that all comes under Agantuja rogas. Okay, the causative factors are external. And these roga adhisthana, like how doshas exist in our body, they have their homes, no, above Jatrurdva and in between Hridaya and Umbilicus, like how we studied previously. Similarly, roga also resides in two such places. One is your body and another is your mind. Okay, that is Tesham Kaya Manobeda Adhishtanamapi Dvida. Kaya is body and Manas is mind. What are Manasika doshas? Sharirika doshas are Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Similarly, Manas will also have their doshas, no? That are Rajas and Tamas. They are doshas of Manas. Examination of the patient and disease we'll study in the next class. For now, have a great day and bye.